Hey, are we live?
Thank you very much for inviting me to chat with you.
And thank you so much for having me on.
Here we go. Okay.
I mean, what's been interesting for me is I think the last workshop I had with your team was really, and the level of transparency that AWS provides actually on your culture and on how you do things within your business is really valuable to get some insights into that and what we can then replicate or transform into our business and utilize. But one of the things that keeps coming up as a theme and something that I'm actually really passionate about is this concept of fear of failure. You know, not everything you try, and I know Amazon definitely has this culture, is going to work. But if you don't try it, you don't, look at that level of innovation, you won't know and you won't learn from it. And so I very much try to instill in our culture that we can't be afraid of failure. We've got to try new things. We've got to pivot. We've got to innovate. We've got to, change process to see if they work. Some will work really well, others won't. But as long as we learn from it and we change again, then that's the most important thing. Can you speak to us a bit more about that sort of culture within AWS?
Yeah, so it is we do have a whole track internally called the culture of innovation, and we do run it with customers as well.
Yeah.
So it's all about how do you think like Amazon? How do you innovate like Amazon? It kind of comes back to our leadership principles. It comes back to the culture. The culture is dictated by these leadership principles. And it was 14. We now have 16. We added two more. Two more about being
surprise.
Try to be the world's best employer, and success and scale brings broad responsibility around sustainability.
Yes, absolutely.
But one that just as you talked about there, the one that really innovates or resonates with me is it's called invent and simplify. So the way we describe it is leaders expect and require innovation and invention from their teams, and they always find ways to simplify at the same time. They're externally aware. We look for new ideas from everywhere. We're not limited by not invented here. I really like that phrase, not invented here. So don't put a blocker in your mind in front of your head. And as we do new things, we accept that we may be misunderstood for long periods of time. And this comes back to the whole Amazon culture over time when Jeff started the company, selling books on the internet. Everyone was like, that's not going to work. And then when we got into Kindle and e-readers, that's probably not going to work either. And AWS is the greatest example of it. When we started AWS almost 16 years ago as this cloud computing business model, no one really paid attention to it, and which meant we got about a 7-year head start on competition because we were willing to be misunderstood for a long period of time. So internally, we have this kind of invention culture, but at the same time, we also want to think big. So thinking big means going on these big bets. And if you look at where we invest in these big bets, it's $1 billion bets. And if we're not investing those kind of money, we're not kind of thinking big enough. So a kind of mantra we do have is we think big, start small, because you want to constrain your experiment and put some guardrails around it, but then move fast and iterate your thinking and see, okay, is this going to work? And if you can get some quick win, then we'll just keep pouring gas on it.
Yeah. It reminds me of Jim Collins' book, I think It's Good to Great, where he talks about the bullets and the cannonball. And, you have lots of bullets out there, lots of small initiatives, you're iterating, you're moving as quickly as possible. And then you've got the cannonballs, what of those bullets is actually showing promise, what's really starting to stick, and then you make the bigger bet. And so it just resonated with me as well. It reminded me of that passage in his book. Well, finally, I want to know if you could share anything. It's a little bit of a cheeky question, really, is what incredible initiatives and things that AWS working on at the moment? Is there anything that's about to happen or that you've been working on that you can share with us?
Not so much, because we have our big show coming up soon.
So basically tune in and watch that.
Watch that one, yeah. So lots of new stuff coming in re:Invent. So I think what we can probably do is we could put some link to re:Invent.
Great. So yeah, that would be really good.
Innovations coming up. Well, I'll give you from my view what we're planning for next year for the business. We're focusing a lot more on the SaaS approach and the business model. And we're going to be working a lot more around how do we work around product development and product innovation, and how do we kind of help companies like yourself around PLQ or PLG, product-led growth. So very keen to engage with a lot of SaaS companies on that whole commercial transformation, because as you move to cloud, your business model changes. How do you price your product and how do you change your product? We work with a couple of partners there as well that can engage you. So that's a crucial part. And then another part will be then once you do the whole commercial transformation and we work out that business model of SaaS, how do we then do the whole technical transformation and the move to like microservices and engage the kind of CTO type angle? So working with product teams and then working with the technical teams and kind of get that all buttoned up. We're making some investments for that for next year.
Interesting. That commercial transformation is definitely something that I'm conscious of, and we've been working through over the last 12 to 18 months ourselves, and just making sure, that the value and the price are congruent and, it makes sense, as well as providing that level of agility that you spoke about before in terms of usage. Rather than sort of fixed pricing that maybe our industry is used to, or that was relevant for the traditional model that we're sort of moving out of. So it's something top of mind for me, definitely, that commercial transformation, and underpinning that, as you said, is the technical transformation, which is something that we're well on the way to achieving, which I'm very excited about.
Super. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Patrick. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I appreciate it. I'm sure that our clients are going to get immense value from hearing this Embed Live series, and I hope that we can speak again soon, maybe after the reInvent conference, and you can talk us through some of the exciting initiatives AWS are working on.
Will do. Thanks for the invitation today, and look forward to watching the other Embed Live sessions.
Thank you. Speak to you later.
Cheers.